Montoya is the man on the move. Is it fast enough?
He's the only man who could take pole away, and he's done it! Juan Montoya in the final seconds of qualifying here in Monte Carlo.
Just what the F1 doctor ordered. Montoya on pole after a compelling qualifying session. Now it's race day, and Monaco's wearing its Sunday best. Good afternoon to you from ITV's magnificent rooftop studio. Beautiful day for a classic sporting occasion. The temperature 23 degrees. Formula One really needed a boost after those Ferrari tactics in Austria. Qualifying did the job. Tony Jardine and Mark Blundell are with me now. Mark, for my money, that qualifying session, the best of the season so far by some distance.
Outstanding. What a difference 2 weeks makes. No Ferrari on the front row. That's a pleasure for me at the moment, but I think tactics is going to play a major role in the outcome of the race today.
Williams due a victory here, aren't they?
Definitely so. 1983, Keke Rosberg, last time they won this race.
Contrasting fortunes for David Coulthard and for Michael Schumacher, and for once there's no Ferrari on the front row, Tony.
Yeah, but it's interesting, he's got a line for that as well. He said, I told you, you know, things wouldn't stay the same. I told you things would change. But of course, David Coulthard was very quick. He said, our car suits the circuit, the Michelin tyres are working well. Pole sitter from last year, the winner of the race in 2000. At this point, he got an early provisional pole position. 10 major changes of provisional pole position. Then Michael Schumacher had electronics problems in the morning. He aborted one run because of problems. He saw smoke in the tunnel. They brought him a new car here on Saturday. On this particular run, he went into second place, but then he dropped to third, and he's on the second row for the race itself. So slightly lacklustre, but he said the car will be in good trim for the race.
Yeah, Mark, you know, you've driven around here many times. Traffic is always a major problem, and David Coulthard was involved with Rubens Barrichello, wasn't he?
Jim, you mentioned Monaco to any of the drivers. The first word they say is traffic, and it's always a major problem around here. You see the situation there, Rubens is actually trailing a Jaguar at this point, trying to get a hot lap together, but the big confrontation off the track, Dave Ryan, McLaren team manager, Rubens having a little bit of a spit at each other. Rubens upset that DC was in his way, Rubens on a hot lap, DC on his warming up lap. It always pours out after the car, but there's nothing you can do about it now.
Rubens saying they should have looked in his mirrors. That's easier said than done, isn't it?
It's so tough to do that around this racetrack. It's so narrow, it's only one line, it's very difficult, and everybody has to contend with it.
Yeah, what about your man, Juan Popular Montoya, pole in overtime? Fantastic.
Great stuff, great lap, outstanding. He really did put this together for this lap. 4 tenths quicker than anybody else on the grid, and really pushing in there with something which I think is going to hold him in good stead. I'm looking forward to how he gets off the line. I think it's going to be a great first corner.
That was right at the end of the session, in fact 2 minutes into overtime. Right at the start, a real moment of embarrassment for poor Alex Young and the Minardi, Tony.
Yeah, I spoke to him about this last night. He said, I braked in exactly the same place as previously, but then it all locked up. I had the option of going down the escape road there to the left, and there's Mika Salo looking on and smiling a little bit, but he didn't. He tried to go round. Obviously, according to us, very important for him to get onto the grid here. And it was touch and go whether he would qualify. He waited, they put him in the spare, and well done Alex, he actually got it onto the grid, albeit at the back.
I hate to remind you both of this, you've been talking about the start there, but to remember what happened to David Coulthard last year?
Well, yeah, a lot of problems for DC last year, a lot of electronic gremlins with launch control, but McLaren have ironed out some of those problems, and I would hate to see the same thing repeated, but I don't think it will happen today. I think there's going to be something in store for us.
He battled through well last year, didn't he, Tony, despite being pushed to the back of the grid? You've got to be in the first 3 generally to win here. Just talk us through the grid today, could you?
Oh, Juan Pablo Montoya, his 5th pole position. He's happy about that. He now likes the track, surprisingly. Coulthard alongside him. Great chance of a win if his electronics get him off the line. Michael Schumacher subdued, but the car will be better in race trim. Ralph has never finished here, by the way. Barrichello held up by Coulthard. Kimi Räikkönen will need a damage limitation exercise to get through. Truly car perfect. Button alongside him made a mistake on the 3rd run. And Salo on his 100th Grand Prix in a great debut in 10th place from McNish despite brushing the barriers. Fisichella 11th. Frentzen, he was quickest in the warm-up. Then Massa, he twitched around the circuit, and alongside him Villeneuve, expect a Jacques attack from him. Benaldi, he starred here last year in front of Coulthard. Sato 16. Heidfeld in the Sauber in 17th place, no grip whatsoever, and Panis alongside him. Webber did a great job in a damaged car. Pedro de la Rosa 20th in the Jaguar. 21st, Eddie Irvine surviving 2 big crashes, and Alex Young relieved to be on the back of the grid in that Minardi.
I think the time was there from the beginning. It's a matter of just getting everything together. My third run, it should have been like 3 times quicker than the previous run, and I got traffic, so that really screwed my lap. And in the last run, I just said, try to get a clear run and go for it.
There's a lot you can do from the front row, isn't there?
There is. It can be also quite tight because you're on the outer part of the track. But thankfully, I've done my 2 practice starts from there over the last couple of days, so that may help lay some rubber down. And if you don't get the jump at the start, you just have to be patient and see if the opportunities come to you.
We didn't expect Monte Carlo to be actually against us. We thought that would be a good circuit for us. We thought Canada could be a problem, as we saw last year. But things seem to be different this year than last year.
You're going to have to pass some people tomorrow.
Well, we will try, make it exciting.
Top 10 first time at Monaco, you've got to be very pleased with that.
Yes, I am. Especially we had I tapped the barrier on my first run, which then put the toes out a little bit, so the car wasn't quite as balanced afterwards, but I was very pleased overall with the performance. And I think we've been quick straight out the box on Thursday and continued today.
Excellent from Alan McNish. That more than a third of the season gone. Michael Schumacher has 5 wins plus 3rd place in Malaysia. Montoya scored in every race. Ralf Schumacher never finished here in Monaco. Barrichello's been 2nd here 3 times. Coulthard won here memorably a couple of years ago, and Button just out of the points last time. Now, the way Ferrari carved up their share of the points at the Austrian Grand Prix instantly had the fans booing them on the podium. Quite unprecedented, that. Perhaps Ferrari, though, had a spot of history on their minds.
Michael Schumacher. That didn't work, Michael. You hit the wrong part of him, my friend.
Ferrari have felt the pain of defeat too often. The pain of losing 3 years in a row to Jacques Villeneuve and then to Mika Hakkinen. Ferrari have been hurt, so now they'll do whatever it takes to win World Championships, and specifically to deliver Michael Schumacher his 5th world title. This was the moment of truth. Lap 63 of the 2002 Austrian Grand Prix. The moment that proved beyond doubt exactly how this team operates.
After the second pit stop, 10 laps to go, he said to look after the car. And then 4 laps to the end, something like this, he said to change positions.
Team orders have always been a part of motorsport, so what Ferrari did was nothing new. But the sport's governing body, the FIA, is set to give them a dressing down over the embarrassing way the drivers handled the podium procedure. It earned the world's most successful driver a hard time from the Austrian crowd, and a load of criticism from fellow Grand Prix winners, past and present.
I felt, having watched your coverage afterwards, that he was being a little bit insincere when he was trying to make out, oh, well, I'm uncomfortable with it, and it's down to Mr. whatever he's called, Jean Todt and De Montezemolo. He knows his contract. He probably said, I want #1 status, I want the T car, I want to be able to take the race car from the other driver. So then to turn around and make out as if, oh, God, I'm really uncomfortable. That's just trying to play both sides.
All the booing made all that, oh, stand on the podium, oh, take the cup and all that stuff. And to me, that was all false. That wasn't really what it was all about. It was about those 10 points that went in the pocket.
The sport is bigger than any one team, than any one driver, and certainly for the fans and motor racing, it was, I think, my opinion, and you have to give an opinion, it was the wrong decision.
There's no reason to have fake embarrassment and wrong feelings and stuff like that. You won, be a man, step up there, take your trophy, accept the booze, and that's it.
The FIA takes podium protocol very seriously. So what kind of punishments could Ferrari be hit with?
Well, assuming that there's a finding that there's an offence been committed, they're extremely extensive. They can go all the way from a reprimand up to lifetime exclusion, theoretically.
You could take points away, you could ban them from Grand Prix, possibly.
All those things.
Wouldn't that give us an inkling of what you think would happen, would you?
I've really no idea. The funny thing is, until you listen to everybody and have the meeting, it's impossible, really genuinely impossible to predict.
I don't think why we should be afraid of the FIA. We feel that the FIA wanted to get some explanation, which we are very happy to give on the 26th of June during the World Council.
So was it the podium procedure that they were worried about?
Well, mainly the podium procedure was not respected as it should have been, which is a fact.
So perhaps Michael Schumacher won't keep those 10 points after all. And as qualifying here showed, there are circuits on which Ferrari can be frustrated. We've even heard Michael say he expects the next track in Canada to be difficult. We've got 11 races left to run, including today. This World Championship is far from over.
OK then, Tony, not even the hint of an apology from Ferrari, but what do you think will happen at that council meeting in Paris?
Well, I hope that they'll take their points away from Austria. I hope they'll get a big fine. They'll probably go to appeal if that happens. But they have a responsibility to the sport at large, and they can't be that cynical, and they can't be above the sport. So something has to be seen to be done.
What's your guess, Mark?
I don't think there'll be points taken away. I think there'll be a huge legal case if that is the fact. But as Mansell said, you know, Schumacher, Ferrari are not bigger than the sport, period.
OK, but emotions are running very high about that finish in Austria. You know, the ITV F1 website had 2,000 hits within 3 minutes of the checkered flag. What does Murray Walker make of it all? Let's join him for a pint at his local to find out.
After two pretty uneventful races in Italy and Spain, people were saying how dull Formula One is this year. But Ferrari's controversial tactics in Austria certainly put a stop to that. But with all the fuss that's being made about Ferrari, you'd think that they were the first team ever to dominate in the history of Formula One. Well, they're not. Lots of teams have dominated. Alfa Romeo, Lotus, Williams, McLaren, and now it's Ferrari. And Ferrari are dominating because they're doing a better job. To me, Ferrari's action in Austria was certainly a massive own goal. But to be thoroughly cynical, it hasn't half got people talking about Formula One again, even if it is for the wrong reason. You know, what a lot of people don't realise is that Formula One's a team event. And team orders have always existed in motor racing. All the major teams have applied them at some time. Williams have, Ferrari always have, and after the 1997 Grand Prix at Jerez, there were even accusations that Williams and McLaren had fixed the first 3 places. And in Australia, David Coulthard gave way to Häkkinen in exactly the same way that Barrichello did to Schumacher in Austria.
Coulthard slowing down. Coulthard's...
Yeah. And Häkkinen takes the lead. Now that looked like a planned move to me, Martin.
Barrichello dominated the race in Austria and richly deserved to win. But Ferrari are determined to justify their massive expenditure and sponsorship by winning both World Championships for a third successive year. In 1997 and 98, they lost the championship at the last race, and in 1999, Schumacher broke his leg. So they're making sure they maximise their chances this year. Yes, it's hard and ruthless, but it's about winning, and that's what they intend to do. However, after all that, it's been good to see this year's BMW Williams so reliable. Montoya's been in the top 6 for every race, and the team is Ferrari's only realistic challenger for the Constructors' Championship. But a third of the way through the season, all the rest are struggling. Even McLaren, who need a stronger engine with more power and are already working for a better 2003. And very sadly, David Coulthard's championship hopes have been dashed. There is some good news though. At last, Jordan have seen a flash of light through the gloom with Giancarlo Fisichella's 5th place in Austria. They were the first points of the year for the team and for Honda. Great for Formula One too was the fact that Jordan's Takuma Sato emerged unhurt from his colossal crash in Austria, which underlined just how strong the modern Grand Prix car is. Jenson Button continues to show great form too. With his 5th place at Imola, he's still in the championship top 6 and well ahead of his talented teammate Jarno Trulli. 2 other things have impressed me. The Sauber team's superb performance, 4th and 5th for Heidfeld and Massa in Spain, and the Arrows team's vastly improved performance. Heinz-Harald Frentzen scored their first point for 16 races in Spain, and with far less money, they're doing a better job than Jaguar, who used the same engine. But like I always say, anything can happen in Formula One, and with 11 races still to go, there's still a lot of unpredictable action ahead of us.
can predict with some confidence. We're going to be talking to Takuma Sato and doing a spot of training as well with Jenson Button before the start of the race in 35 minutes' time. To Louise Goodman now. Louise has been mingling with some of the celebrities round the harbour in Monte Carlo.
Jay, very nice to see you down here. Monaco always attracts the celebrities, but you're a big race fan anyway, aren't you?
I am, absolutely, yes. I've never been to Monaco, ever before. I've played here at the music awards and stuff, but I've never seen it, and it is the race of the season, really. I mean, it's just more exciting than any other thing, and I just want to hear the cars in the enclosed environment of the. I mean, I know what my 360 Spider's like when I go through a tunnel, so I can't imagine what these guys are hearing. So,
great, nice to see you down here. What do you reckon? It's a bit posh, isn't it?
A bit like Whitechapel. No, it's beautiful, absolutely stunning. First time I've been here, so glad to come in.
What brings you down here? You just thought you'd come along and have a look-see?
I came for the ball last night, which was outstanding. What I remember of it, anyway. James Brown and all that. I had some friends down who invited me down, so we came down, had a drink, came for the race, and I'm going home this afternoon. So.
Welcome, Andrew and Caroline, half of the Calls family. You having a nice time down here?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, we got here, I'm here since Friday, so it's been an amazing experience. It's been fantastic. So we just watched the qualifying yesterday, so it was incredible.
No guesses as to who you're going to be cheering for this afternoon?
Well, we're cheering for Jordan. Well, we're always cheering for Jordan, of course.
Do you actually follow the sport, or...?
No, I don't at all.
I watch it.
Well, my boyfriend's, my fiancé now is really into Formula One, so I do end up watching it now, and I've gotten into it. I really have, so it's great. It's great.
Of course, they always cheer for Jordan. Now, over the past couple of months, we've been telling you about the possibility of a manufacturers' championship. Now, a group of British teams have formed their own alliance. Here's Martin Brundle now talking to three team bosses, to Tom Walkinshaw, to Dave Richards, and to Eddie Jordan.
A company called GPT surfaced this week in the press, which I think all three of you were involved in. What's that all about? Anything we need to know about?
No.
Anything we can know about?
Very simple. We didn't tell you because then we might have to kill you. We don't want to do that. GPT, honestly, this is something that's quite fun because it seems to have just emerged at this moment, whereas actually it's been a group of us having a cup of coffee or chatting about various things where we all are to see is there a common interest. It's been going on for a year and a half, and to be reasonably prudent, we've appointed somebody to actually coordinate and to get our feelings onto one piece of paper.
I think the reality is, you've talked about sort of unsettling the sport in crisis situations. That's been stimulated by all the goings on in the background. Car manufacturers deciding to do their own thing and sort of talking about going off on their own. That's not healthy for our sport at all.
But with just 5 British teams in it, it seemed like another dividing line to me, rather than a unison.
Quite the contrary. Quite the contrary.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the five non-factory owned teams in Britain just got together so that they shared information and kept each other informed as to what was going on, because if you're trying to do it individually, the manufacturers are working as a group, and I think the teams want to be known that we're in Formula One. We would like a solution that kept us in Formula One. The solution of last resort would be a breakaway series, and we want everyone to be sensible here, and the sooner everyone starts being sensible and finding a solution, then the healthier Formula One will get for everyone.
I have to believe that we're all actually heading in the same direction. I think the manufacturers would prefer to make Formula One work rather than go off on their own. I know Bernie is passionate about making Formula One work, even despite the current problems of Kirsch in Germany. And we as teams, obviously, it's our interest to see it work. And hopefully all interested parties will end up going the same direction and quite shortly.
Well, they mentioned SLEC in that conversation. SLEC, by the way, the trust that owns the rights to Formula One. Now, Monte Carlo is home for around about 50% of the F1 drivers. The tax concessions, of course, the main attraction. But it's convenient, it's warm, and those mountains, well, they're ideal for training. Beverly Turner reporting.
Monaco, the home to Formula One glamour, where most drivers enjoy the fruits of their labours whilst exercising their rights to lower taxation. But high up in the nearby mountains, there's an altogether different type of exercising going on. Away from the distractions, one of our sport's keenest young pups is sweating his way to the top.
Go on then, gents.
Oh yes, you may think Jenson Button spends his time lying on a yacht, but you'd be wrong. And we're here in Valberg to prove it. Along with Jarno Trulli and the rest of the Renault team, he's been on a training camp which has included a gruelling 90-kilometre cycle ride.
I sleep well tonight, mate.
But I'm here for stage 2, a mere 90-minute mountain hike. Hello? Good morning. How you doing?
Probably smells a bit in here.
It doesn't smell great. Morning.
How's it going?
It's a beautiful day.
Good morning.
The mountains are recalling. How are your legs from yesterday?
I'm in so much pain you don't believe.
Are you?
Unbelievable.
Well, if I've got to try and do this hike, you've got to do it to get yourself out of bed.
Oh,
See you
probably not a good idea at the moment.
I'll see you for breakfast in a minute.
Nice one. You can go now.
But before we get physical, time to analyse the data from that cycle ride. Pay attention, here comes the science.
This is the base of the climb here. You can see we had a slight rest. Immediately we started climbing. It was a big effort. We saw a big increase in heart rate, sustained for the whole of the duration of the climb.
Do you think this is the future of Formula One fitness?
Definitely. You've got to have the side of getting out there and doing it and enjoying it, but you've also got to be able to sort of quantify what you're doing and make sure you're not overtraining them, but also you're keeping the pressure on enough to keep them improving.
So would you say this is all part of a different focus for you this year?
I think so. I mean, this time last year, we didn't really have a training regime as in before Monaco, so it's good to, as I said, it's good to get away and every time I've had free time this year, I've been training bloody hard actually, and it's really paying off.
What were you doing this time last year?
I really haven't got. I know what I was doing. I was training, but I spent a lot of time on the boat, which obviously didn't go down very well. Get your hand through like that, all right, and then just grip it like so.
Bernie Shrewsbury is the man in charge, the ex-Marine who shows little mercy to pampered racing drivers. But I'm hoping he'll show some to a pampered TV presenter. I'll just stop if it gets too much.
Enjoying yourself?
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, it's great fun.
Does it help psychologically to know that you pushed yourself to these levels?
It is because mentally it really helps because you can go the full distance, 100% all the way. But knowing that you've done all this training and it does make a huge difference. It's really helps in the last 10 laps of a race when you're reeling someone in or trying to stay in front of someone.
The phrase that's been bandied around this year is Jenson's change of attitude. Would you take some credit for that?
Yeah, I'm part of a big team, really, and we sort of bring on his performance mentally, physically, and he has changed. And I think we're just about to see the tip of the iceberg of the great Button, basically. Well done, Billy.
Oh my God.
How nice is this? Hey? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I did. Did you?
I think it was great. Really enjoyed training. Not.
Look at the view.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
And we're offering you the chance to win a drive with the new Superfit Mega Jenson Button. 2 drives available July the 13th and 14th at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. We'll throw in accommodation as well. Yeah, you could be with Jenson in that Renault Clio V6. Hold on tight if you win it. We want you to tell us which team Jenson made his Formula One debut. Is it A, McLaren, B, Benetton, or C, Williams? A, McLaren, B, Benetton, or C, Williams. The number to dial 09065 899 199, 09065 899 199. And those lines close at midnight on June the 5th. More details on the ITV F1 website. Well, here we are then in Monte Carlo, a popular venue for award ceremonies. The front runners in the F1 Championship have both been recognised recently. Michael Schumacher's prize could raise a few eyebrows.
You might think it's a bit ironic that Ferrari's #1 driver should get an award for Best Sportsman. But that's just what Michael Schumacher did here at the Grimaldi Forum just 2 days after that controversial shuffle in Spielberg. Celebrity Scotsman and the great and good of Formula One turned out for the Laureus Sports Awards. They're voted for by a panel of sporting legends, including Sir Bobby Charlton, and they honoured Juan Pablo Montoya with the Best Newcomer Award. That was presented on the night by double world champion Emerson Fittipaldi.
I really want to thank everybody here. Just my second year in Formula One this year. It's been, really up and down and everything, but, be here, get this trophy is amazing. It really shows that, the job I'm doing is right, and just going to try to keep doing the same. Thanks.
Friend of Formula One, Boris Becker, was on hand to present the big prize.
I'm delighted to say that the Academy has selected as the Sportsman of the Year my countryman Michael Schumacher.
I don't think words can really explain in detail what's going on to receive such an award. I simply want to say thank you to the people who vote me. It means a lot to me, and I'm finding a beautiful place to put this. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Contact our website if you can think of a suitable place for Michael Schumacher to put that prize. Well, the cars have been flying round Monte Carlo. This is Kimi Raikkonen, 25 minutes to go to the start of the Grand Prix. Raikkonen starting 6th on the grid. Let's go on board now for a flying lap of Monaco with a man who should have won in Austria, Rubens Barrichello. Rubens celebrating his 30th birthday on Thursday. Now, Martin Brundle is something of a Monaco expert as well. Martin had 11 drives round here.
Rubens Barrichello calmly sets the Ferrari up for a good run into the pit straight for a qualifying lap. You're going to average about 100 miles an hour for the next 2 miles, but it'll seem much faster. 170 miles an hour into Sandevot, down 3 gears, on the power, very, very hard. Try to straighten out that gentle S through Beau Rivage and up into Massenet, 170 miles an hour. Hug the barrier on the left, but be careful, it comes at you again. Into Casino Square, down 2 gears. Now you're screaming down the hill towards Mirabeau. 130 miles an hour. Try and catch the rain gully on the inside, and tremendous traction. Full lock into lows, just 45 miles an hour. Across the pavement, straighten the car, full throttle. Portier, it's very narrow on the exit. Ready for the tunnel. Do not follow the painted white lines. Just follow your instincts as you go through the kink, 180 miles an hour over the crest. Back end of the car goes light. The very low curbs can be ignored. Now catapult towards to back, 150 miles an hour. Absolutely nowhere to go if you make a mistake. 85 miles an hour. Back up to 125. A breather for the first chicane. 100 miles an hour. Down now. More cautiously this time. Be careful of those barriers. And a long curving acceleration zone to Raskas. Very cautiously on the brakes. So easy to catch the back wheels on the barriers. And now watch the car just drift over the crest to Anthony Noak. Halt the slide with the curb on the outside. Start-finish line ahead of you. He backs off. He knows he's done a good time. 5th on the grid.
Absolutely fantastic to average close to 100 miles an hour round here. By the way, don't forget to email us your comments on the Monaco Grand Prix. And Martin Brundle's grid walk, well, that is coming right up. This is a wonderful sporting day. We're ready for some Monegasque magic, and we're delighted that the Japanese driver Takuma Sato is with us. It's his first time round the mean streets in the Jordan, and Sato's discovered the cost of any mistake. Mind you, he's not the first to come to grief at that first corner, Sandevot. But just being here is some achievement. Louise Goodman reporting.
Takuma Sato has had more than his fair share of accidents since he joined the Jordan team at the start of the year. The 25-year-old reigning British Formula 3 champion has had a few problems acclimatising to Formula 1. But his dramatic exit from the Austrian Grand Prix was definitely not of his own making. Takuma was the innocent victim in a high-speed shunt with Nick Heidfeld.
I think it was a braking problem. I don't think that anything broke on the car, but I just hit the brakes and the car spun. Once I spun around, I couldn't do anything. I didn't know if I was going to hit somebody or not. I hoped that I would just go straight in the gravel trap, but then unfortunately I hit Takuma.
What happened is into the turn to side by side with Montoya. Montoya was inside, I was leading outside slightly. And as soon as you just exit the corner, on the throttle, big smash coming. After the accident, I was panicked a little bit because I have no idea. But I saw the monocoque is completely smashed and a punching hole, big hole. And my leg is squashed and then trapped completely. That's why I couldn't get out, because my legs is completely squashed.
It was really a huge bang, and then when I stopped, I felt my leg, and the first thing was a bit of a relief because I knew I was not really badly injured. And then the next thing was that I was worried about Takuma because I, like everybody else, didn't know what happened to him because he was stuck in the car.
It was so lot of pain, but obviously I could feel all the parts, foot and toes and arms, everything is fixed. So, I just, I thought, thanks God, I was okay. And I'm in Lexicur team and did a great job, and obviously nowadays in Formula One, safety is the point, improved a lot. So that's why I'm alive here, and I'm very pleased to be back here.
Sato was airlifted to hospital in Graz for a thorough medical checkup, but released the following day with a clean bill of health. Just 1 week later, he was back behind the wheel, driving Graham Hill's old Lotus.
It was great fun. A bit of shame because it was wet, and the 60s, 70s cars did a lot of oil on the circuit, and I had like a 30 years old Dunlop, the dry tyre. It's so much slippier, but it was a good experience before the Grand Prix.
No matter what he's driving, those barriers seem to have a bit of a magnetic attraction for Sato. He starts 16th this afternoon. Let's join Ted Kravitz now and find out what he thinks is going to happen at the sharp end of the grid.
Let's all imagine, shall we, that you, me and the dog, we're all David Coulthard. We're all sitting on the front row of the grid at Monaco with the best chance of winning a race so far this year. We've looked at the videos of past races here and seen that everyone tends to funnel into the middle at the start. But we also remember how Michael Schumacher got the jump on poleman Mika Häkkinen in '99. So let's try and do that to Montoya if we possibly can. As far as the strategy goes, we'll do a one-stopper. Because our Michelins are durable, we'll go long to lap 57 or 58, keep the car out of the barriers, and be there when it matters, at the end. So all of us David Coulthards out there, that's our race planned. Now all we have to do is put on the lucky underpants and go and win it.
So there we are, just over 15 minutes to go to the start of the Monaco Grand Prix. Pull up a chair and make yourself comfortable. Could be points here, who knows, for Jenson Button, who's gone pretty well in qualifying. Let's get his thoughts on the upcoming race.
Jenson, we've just seen you get hot and sweaty with Beverly Turner. Tell me what that was like.
Great, fantastic. A bit tiring, but yeah, it was good. We had a good few days up in the hills. I think Beverly realised how hard we do train, and the actual day that you had filming was probably the easiest day we had. But no, it was really good, and I think it was good to get away from everything of Monaco and just go and relax away for the weekend.
Back to the serious stuff. What can you do this afternoon?
I think the main thing is I think it's going to be a queue of cars really. So really hanging in there, saving the tyres, saving as much fuel as possible, and see what happens. Because I mean, it's impossible to overtake here. We just got to see what happens to the cars in front, and hopefully we can finish and get some points.
Have a good race.
Finish and get some points. The order of the day. This is Giancarlo Fisichella starting 11th in the Jordan. There's always precious little elbow room down there on the grid. It's cramped, it's busy, it's competitive. That's why we got this fella down there.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Well, I know from everything I've read and heard, you were very disappointed. You were very disappointed. Let me just change microphones.
I'm a little way away.
Are we working now? Okay, I'm sorry. We had some problems there. I was saying everything I've read and heard in the many letters I've had, I know that you're all very disappointed with what happened in Austria 2 weeks ago, and I'm very sorry for that. I really am. I hope we can make it up to you today with a great race, and it certainly is in prospect, providing they don't run into each other. And Ted was talking to you about it. Mark 3 coming up here now. Ted was talking to you about it, how they funnel into the middle. I just want to show you why. Look at the curve down to the first corner. It's a short distance, and I just hope we don't have any dramas, because we're really, really in for a great race this afternoon, if that be the case. Then Ferrari quick in the warm-up this morning. How good are the Bridgestones? It seemed as if Michelin had an advantage. This grid walk always terrifies me, because I cannot see anybody. There's so many people on the grid, it's virtually impossible. Montoya on pole then. No point trying to talk to him. He doesn't like talking on the grid. Coulthard second place. Nice front row start from him, and looking forward to maybe kick-starting his season this afternoon. Michael Schumacher in third place. No point trying to talk to him. He will look at me like I'm trying to sell him double glazing or something. Talking about selling double glazing, Bernie, don't run away. What's going on?
Lots of activity, huh?
It's fantastic, isn't it? It should be a great race this afternoon.
Team tactics, I think. Not what we had before, but I mean, it's when they bring the guys in for stops and not whether they get out behind people or not.
Yeah, I think it's really whether Michael goes for a two-stopper this afternoon if he tries to make something big on the first lap.
Yeah, I don't think they'd do that, do you?
They might get tucked up behind some traffic if they do later on, but it's worth a try. Otherwise, you're happy, yeah? Who can I talk to? I can't see the wood for the trees around here. Yeah, I'll catch you later on. Ah, here he is.
You should know by now, there's only one person who wins the race, and that's Bernie.
It's a true story. But how are you doing, Nigel?
Doing very well, thank you. Very exciting race today, Bernie, isn't it? Fantastic grid, unbelievable qualifying, probably the best race of the year coming up.
I tend to agree with you. What are you doing down here?
I'm just swanning around as editor-in-chief of Formula One magazine, which I'm having a really exciting time doing, and I'm going to be watching on the circuit, hence the bib. I'll go anywhere on the circuit and watch these guys do a great job.
So you're another sad Formula One driver turning into a journalist like me, yeah?
I'm a very happy Formula One driver.
It'd be good if you two could do a lot better than someone at the back of the grid as well.
Yeah, that's actually probably true. I do. This is the one track where I'm really jealous of all the drivers. I don't know about you. Do you miss it, Nigel?
Well, do you know, it's the first time I said to Bernie this morning, I've been back in 10 years, first time this weekend, and last time here in 92, great race with Ayrton. I actually still want to be in the car.
Yeah, me too. I better go and talk to some other people, otherwise, you know. I wonder if Coulthard's back on the grid. Yes, he is. Need to have a quick word with DC, because he looks like he could be in for a stonking afternoon. Sorry, Phil. Okay, I know you've got to talk to David. Have you got 1 minute?
Just 1 second.
Yeah. DC, a nice clear track ahead of you. First time on the front row this year. What's in your mind? What can happen?
Well, track seems a bit grippier than it was this morning in the warm-up, which is no big surprise. So we had a lot of understeer this morning. It's a bit more neutral. So just obviously thinking what the balance is going to do in the race, and obviously hope to make a good start.
Okay, so are you looking at beating that guy into the first corner realistically, or just making sure Michael doesn't get past you? What's the philosophy?
Oh no, you start with your sights aimed high. I want to lead into the first corner. Obviously, that will depend on how our start strategy works. I think in Austria we appeared to gain quite a bit of time relative to the VMs. So if that plays true today, the only difficulty here is the barrier moves in as you get closer to the first corner.
Now, we were just saying with Nigel Mansell and Bernie Ecclestone, this could be the best race of the year so far. Could be an absolute classic, providing everybody gets away cleanly. Am I boring you?
No, not at all. I just wanted to give Simone a kiss before she goes. Yes, it could be the best race of the season.
You're thinking about kissing Simone. Good luck. Thanks, David. Oh, well, that's what it's all about down here on the grid. Kissing the pretty girls and getting ready for a good start. Back to you, Jim.
Well done down there. David Coulthard, super confident. Not sure who that double glazing salesman was, by the way, and a little commercial from Nigel Mansell. You'd expect that. We're all set then for the 60th Monaco Grand Prix. Just 9 finished in 2000. He has never finished here, Ralf Schumacher. 10 last year. Montoya didn't last long. No Ferraris on the front row for the first time all season. We reckon Formula One owes us one. And the wheels are about to spin here in Monte Carlo.